Hi everyone, Jan Shegda here with Clarity Coaching, and this week we're beginning our series on Enneagram style speak. Today we're going to start with the gut center, and we're going to go with style 1 first, then we'll go backwards 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. So today we're talking about style 1, the reformer, the perfectionist are some names for this type. And first we'll talk about how they communicate and work at home, how to speak their language, and then what they need most from us. So to begin, how ones communicate at work and home. Generally, the communication style is one of best practices or more of a teaching style. So part of the one motivation is to learn the right way to do things, the best approaches for any particular problem, whether it's personal or professional. And so when ones communicate, that's typically what they're trying to get across. Well, I figured out that this is the best way because, or sharing their knowledge or information with others. In terms of how they demonstrate that, they tend not to be too showy with hand gestures and things like that, but if they are going to use them, it's usually more of a precise hand gesture, so upraised finger, perhaps a point, or an underline if they're showing something to in person, so to speak, like on a desk, on a document or something. But it's generally about sharing their information, sharing the best practices and the right way to do something that they've come up with. So the downside of this, if it gets a little bit negative, that communication could sound a little bit preachy, a little bit like lecturing or being scolded, like a parent-child type dynamic. And that might be one way to recognize the one communication style as well. So how best to communicate with them. So if you're in the unfortunate situation where you're feeling a little bit scolded by one, best approach would be to share why your line of thinking or your approach is correct or right. So that's another way of saying that you should align your values with the value of the one, and the one values rightness, correctness, those high ideals, family values, those sorts of things. So if they're criticizing or saying that you're doing something incorrectly, you need to be able to defend your position as to why it's correct, and also align yourself with their values. So that's the best way to communicate with them at work. On more of a personal level, they're very problem-solving focused when in a disagreement or a conflict. So they can sometimes struggle with big show of emotion, or kind of the range of emotion. So extreme emotional upset on one side, like crying, or anger on the other side can be frustrating for them. They want to be able to talk something through rationally and almost in a business-like manner, even if it's personally not a professional situation. So keep that in mind when you're talking with them. And in terms of what one needs from you, things that they need most from you, I think it's just to share their values. Again, the desire to do the right thing, to figure out how best and most efficiently to arrive at a solution, if it's at work, if it's at home, to know that you're on the same team, that you're both trying to solve whatever issue is at hand. Along with that, and I mentioned this before in my other one video, I believe, but it's really, really important to keep a short account with ones, and by that I mean if an error was made, whether at work or at home, if you're late for an appointment, or if you didn't follow through on a personal commitment, really, really, really important that you admit that up front, because if you don't, it's kind of hard for one to look past that in their mind, and it definitely negatively impacts the relationship. So what they need most from us, admitting when there's been a mistake, and also sharing their values of doing the right thing and moving forward together. So that's Style Speak for 1. Catch you next week for Style Speak for 9s. And feel free to leave in the comments if there's anything I didn't answer in this video that you want to know more about. And I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. Thanks. See you next time.